The blackness of night, the cool chill of the air, the sounds of carriage wheels on damp cobblestone. This is when the city of Fallendrift is most at home. In most of the city, this is when commoner residents close their doors and turn inward to their crowded family homes, just as the last of the lamplighters on horseback lit the streetlights. Within the west side of the old walled city, the upper class of the Hive and Hightown and other wealthy districts already began to dine. Silverware clinked on finely made plates, and crystal drinkware was raised to postulant lips in gleeful toasts, each ignoring the rotting plague each noble has suffered throughout their entire life. At the docks which jutted into the river that divided the city, workers rolled barrels on and off large barges and ships, many of them far from home and eager to return once more. But here we turn our attention to 23 Winslow Street, a well-traveled road in an ordinary residence district within a block of middle-class flats. Just outside, passers-by make way for the occasional horse and buggy, and in turn, the street cleaners make way for the passers-by as they shovel manure and mud into barrels to bring back to the dust yard. All things were normal in Fallendrift. One gentleman, a Mr. Hugo Malave, a tall, thin, mustachioed man wearing a proper black suit and top hat, easily skipped over one pile of dung before double-checking the address on the slip of paper in his hand. Indeed, it was 23 Winslow, and the time was a few minutes before 8 p.m. Mr. Malave tipped his hat at two women, the Sanders sisters by all accounts, well known for their indulgence in rumor, who thanked the gentleman for allowing them to go up the steps to 23 Winslow first. Malave's walking cane lightly tapped on the steps as he followed the women up. The door opened just before the sisters could knock, one of their clenched hands still in midair, looking at the door as if something mysterious had opened it. Standing in the doorway, who do we see?
Ophelia Moore at your service. Eleanor Sanders, it's so good to see you.
Oh, thank you, love. This is where it's all going to take place tonight, is it not?
Of course.
Oh, it is. It's going to take place tonight. And they immediately start going right into the parlor. Right behind them, Mr. Malave takes his hat off, holds it, and bows courteously, his other hand held out for yours.
Good evening, sir.
And with that, he kisses your knuckles and puts his hat back on, comes inside just for a quick moment, taking it off again, apparently just remembering where he was. Walking cane in hand, he nods and looks towards the parlor. Everyone entered the darkened parlor room. Heavy drapes were drawn tight and obscured any view of the resident's luxurious but small garden. Mrs. Holstern, whose house this was proud of her garden. But tonight was a special occasion. She and her husband were to have a talk. The Sanders sisters look at you, Miss Moore, curious about your gown, your choice of costuming, as it were. What are you wearing? What do you look like?
Mrs. Moore is very modest, high neck, always black. It's assumed that she's always in mourning, but nobody seems to know for who. Nobody has seen her with a husband, although she is Mrs. Moore. So just high buttons, high ruffles, hair always tucked back, no real secrets being kept. Very unassuming.
Very well. The Sanders sisters dress in some of their finery. Bustled skirts now out and displayed, they begin looking around, and the table there in the middle of this warm and stuffy room, the one with the fireplace that hasn't seen a fire in at least a day, now only illuminated dimly by a few candles in the middle of a table adorned by some odd items. The furs of the Sanders were taken off just due to the heat and laid over the back of the chair, not able to find any coat hooks or anything like that. Mrs. Holstern also looking around nervously. She's never been to a seance before. But she heard of your services, Miss Moore, and thanking you repeatedly for having arrived before all of the guests and even looking after the home as she went out and ran about her errands so that you would be able to at least set up, as per the agreement, when the spirits should never be disturbed, least of all by the resident of the home during your preparations. Everyone begins to sit down around, and teacups from earlier now cleared. A trumpet lays on the table, next to a tambourine, next to what appears to be some chalk slate, along with, or rather some slate in a wooden frame, along with some chalk. Both slates are blank, and a piece of string meant to bind them together, the spirit board, laying here as well. The dark curtains holding back any remnants of daylight from the day. Everyone is gathered and present. After a few more courtesies are shared, a couple more people now enter. One, a clean-shaven gentleman, an elf by all accounts. It seems to be a desert elf, but his attire gives off that he is, in fact, a full-blown resident, cultured and everything like that, of Fallen Drift itself. He enters and introduces himself as also a relative of the Sanders, courteously nodding here and there, saying hello to others but curt in reply otherwise. A total of 6 guests. Mr. Malave looking around, gesturing, holding out chairs for the Sanders sisters to sit, the other odd gentleman sitting somewhat near you, Ms. Moore, and Mr. Malave sitting directly opposite, preparing his chair. Where are we to start? How do we start?
Oh, well, is everybody here?
Mrs. Handstrom takes a look around and, yes, dear, I believe everything is all, yes. And she appears particularly nervous, a bead of sweat now coming down her brow. She reaches in, takes out a kerchief and damps it away.
Dear, there's no reason to be alarmed. It's all right.
They
are our loved ones. They're here they will be visiting. That's all.
Well, loved ones, yes. Edgar and I were indeed loved ones. A nervous eye looking down to the side. Tension already rising in the room. The heat in the room now beginning to swell with the body heat. Collars now being tugged at. The only remaining lights now are the candles there. You having already shut the door to the parlor.
Gentlemen, if you would be so kind as to snuff the candles. Ladies, on my hands.
Immediately, darkness, just as the last of the candles is blown out, everyone begins to hold hands. You can feel squeezing and moist palms quivering on the part of the woman. A paced-mannered breathing off to your right, Mrs. Moore, the other gentleman who is here, the relative to the Sanders themselves. It's quickly identified through your questions, your standard questions, who everyone is. The Sanders were cousins of the resident here, and ultimately all knew Edgar at one point or another in their life. The Sanders sisters and the gentleman sitting next to you don't seem to know each other too well, but they do believe that they are seeing each other, even though that the Sanders sisters are human and this man is clearly an elf. Nonetheless, they all seem to know Edgar, and therefore would all be able to answer questions from the spirit realm beyond. How do you wish to proceed?
Now everybody close your eyes. No peeking.
Close eyes. You can almost hear them close in the darkness.
What was Edgar's last name again?
Handstrom.
Handstrom. Mr. Handstrom, can you hear us? I'm going to wait. Healthy pregnant pause.
Yeah. There's a pregnant pause, all right. And nothing happens just yet.
Mr. Handstrom, if you are here, give us a sign.
Everything seems normal.
A breath in someone's ear.
You can feel a tense. Suddenly, there is a knocking of some kind. It begins somewhere upstairs, as if there were footsteps. Somebody else pounding on walls. And then even from under the table. Apparently, someone is making themselves known.
Mr. Handstrom, if that is you, and I'm going to put my hands on the planchette.
Oh, do you let go? Okay, you
let
can't
go.
You can't even see it now, and people start. Oh, where'd your hand go? Where did your hand go?
It's all right. It's all right. I'm right here. I'm still here.
The man off to your right. Can I please have an opposed strength check?
Ooh, yes. Strength. Oh. Why did I not? I don't even know what I'm doing in D20.
Oh, it's okay.
D&D Beyond.
No, it's okay. You just you click on the modifier itself. I rolled an 8 for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Rolled an 8. You go to pull your hand away, and he looks at you and says, "It's most curious for the medium to let go of hands, lest chicanery be employed."
Okay. Just so you know, I might need an actual dice for this because it's not letting me click anything, but we shall continue.
Okay. I can always roll for you as well. That's not a problem.
Go for it.
Yep, you have an 8. He holds on to your right hand, not letting go, stating what he did.
I'm going to need to ask you to let go of my hand. I need it.
How do we know that Edgar is going to appear if, as opposed to you having had some play?
Nobody is going to appear if you do not let go of my hand.
He lets go out of courtesy.
Thank you. Ladies, it's all right. I'm right here.
Where's that knocking coming from? We can hear knocking.
Yes, of course. Edgar's just having a play at you, I suppose. All right. Now.
You put your hands on the planchette?
Yes.
One of the candles in the middle lights up to illuminate everyone's eyes, completely taken back. They see your hands on there, but more the very large flame being coming out of that candle in the middle.
Edgar, if you are with us, use me as your vessel. Tell me what you are here to say.
The knocking continues here and there. And then somewhere from beyond, something begins to speak. It comes out of your mouth.
Morning.
Edgar? Edgar, is that you?
Hey.
The man next to you, you can almost feel him leaning in to look at you while he holds on to the hands of everyone else. The planchette begins to move under your fingertips, just in a small circling pattern to let you know he's present.
Miss Sanders, your hands, please.
People let go and immediately start going right towards the planchette, all fingertips. You see some are incredibly heavy on there, just due to nervousness and not knowing what to do.
Edgar, what do you want to warn us?
At first, nothing. And then one of the women immediately cries, "Oh God, look!" And you can see Mr. Malave. He's standing there, his hands halfway to the planchette, frozen in air, almost completely still, his hands trembling just a little bit. And a mist begins to pour out of his mouth, very light, but nonetheless coming out entirely. And you start hearing,
Sir, are you all right? Edgar, if you can hear me, I am your vessel. Use me, not this poor innocent man.
The gurgling stops for a moment, and Malave quickly looks around really quick, and his hands resume heading towards the planchette.
All right, as soon as his go on there, because I feel like he's like the most skeptical, I'm going to start spelling out curse.
Oh, give me a deception check.
I can't roll. You got to roll.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not a problem. If you click on like on the +4, you can't do it.
If I click on the +4, hold on. It's giving me errors because it's showing up.
Oh, weird. Okay. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Well, you got a 9. So, yeah, you start spelling out. There's a little bit of resistance in the planchette itself, but it seems to be like with a little bit of force, it makes its way over to the sea. And Malave says, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm pressing it down too hard. Maybe I should have a lighter touch so the spirit can take control." And everyone else is like, "Oh, yes, absolutely." And all of a sudden everything lightens up a little bit, allowing you to make another roll. You do, and it's a 6. Somebody is holding it back, and you take a look off to your right, and the man is just staring at the planchette, but you can see the blood coming, like it's squeezed away from his fingernails. He's pressing down so hard in order to lock it into position.
Sir,
the rapping continues.
Just like my hand, I'm going to need to ask you to be gentle with the spirits. They are trying to come back to us.
He stops for a second and lightens up.
More, please.
He lightens up further. Now it's just his fingertips on there like everyone else.
Thank you. Edgar, you said C? You? What is the next letter?
The planchette heads over towards the R. And then the S.
R?
And then the E.
A curse. I'm going to look at Beatrice and Eleanor Sander.
Curse! What is this about a curse? Are we cursed? Are we cursed? Malave's like, I was employed with him. He very often spoke that he was always being followed, as if there was something always watching him. But of course, there never actually was.
He didn't have any enemies, or maybe how did he die exactly?
His wife turns to you and like with a quizzical gaze, and we were kind of hoping that you would tell us that.
Well, I could try to discern from the knocks and the elusive cryptic messages, but please forgive me, madam, if you understand that I am but a medium.
Everyone is very nervous, and well, go on, do your business. Perhaps we're asking too many questions.
All right. Let's try the board. We'll try the slate. Everybody let go of your hands.
Everyone lets go. The planchette remains still on the board.
I'm going to hold the piece of chalk and the slate in front of me now.
Okay.
And push the board away. And I'm going to sit back really far, like very stiff, and say, Edgar, what can we do to rectify or resolve or find peace for you in the other side?
You see the slates themselves, the string that is between them gets taut. The slates begin to move, and all of a sudden join, and then begin floating up in a straight upward pattern, swinging back and forth as they do until they come to rest just underneath the chandelier. There's a scraping sound like chalk against the covered slate, and then the whole thing drops down to the table.
It says penance.
Oh God, says the wife. He's going to lay a curse on me. I told you that I shouldn't have done that. And the two sisters begin looking at each other and go, what are you referring to, love? It's no use. It's no use whatsoever. And she immediately stands up and kicks the table, or kicks her chair out by accident. It falls over on the floor. Her hands come up, and she is extremely nervous. Her subconsciously fiddling around with her wedding band on her hand. I'm so sorry, Edgar. I did not mean. He was incredibly handsome, and I did not mean it. I am so sorry. Please do not curse me. Please do not curse me. The Sanders sisters look around, and then they look at Mr. Malave, and Mr. Malave is like, I assure you, it was not me. He straightens out his waistcoat and then his jacket, fluffing out his tails and what have you. And the man sitting next to you, Well, I'm terribly sorry, Mrs. Moore, but I don't believe a single word of this.
Well, you don't have to. I have resolved this gift with God, and that's all that I need.
Perhaps for you, but I will...
Madam.
Something begins to happen. Malave kicks back again. His mouth opens, and a little bit of that smoke comes out again. A deep voice from somewhere coming out of his throat. And then, again, he opens his mouth, and you can see small spots like insects beginning to come out themselves, coming down out of his chin and down over his waistcoat, leaking out onto the table. And with a great shriek, the Sanders sisters immediately vacate. They stand up, and the man who's sitting next to you, looking at him and then looking at the insects, the knocking continuing, he begins looking around and looks under the table, doesn't find anything, and one of them starts making its way, but they all seem to huddle towards the slate. And you can see the chalk itself that was in your hand get whipped out of your hand and immediately dance somewhere on the slate itself, as if being orchestrated by a foreign, an invisible hand. And a scratching sound of chalk on slate begins. And you can see, die, my wife, die. She passes out on the floor. The Sanders sisters get all in a tizzy. They start leaving. Mr. Malave, still in a paralytic, somewhat state. The other man rising up, going over to the woman. She needs a doctor immediately. I know of one. I'll be back. And he exits the premises. The Sanders sisters completely tizzy. They don't know what to do. They start looking, gawking at each other. Mr. Malave finally relaxing in his seat. Nothing else happening now. No sign of insects down on the table. The chalk now laying there, just kind of rolling off by gravity towards the edge of the slate itself, and then falling off, coming to a rest on the table. All things look normal. Mr. Malave looking up.
Are you all right?
Yes? Why do you ask?
Do you need to see a doctor or somebody?
I think she does, Miss Moore. And he stands up, goes over to her, and goes, "Well, let me help her out. Let me help her out." And the other man, the elf, comes in, and he's and with him, immediately behind him, you see a dwarf, an older graybeard dwarf, come over. They examine and they escort her out for a breath of fresh air. Mr. Malave goes over and goes, "Oh, in case the spirits come back." He then shuts the door to the premises, turns around, comes back into the parlor, looking at you. "You think we did it?"
I don't know how you did it so well this time, but yes.
Okay, well, all right.
You scared even me.
Jared. And you see a man stick his face out. Yeah. You can stop it with the knocks. "That's not me. I thought that was you." The knocks continue. Things then quiet down. And for a brief moment, it's peaceful. The man comes in And there's a quick shuddering. The guy behind the curtains immediately, like, he has a tambourine on a pole. He brings it back and immediately draws the curtain shut as he hears the front door open again. The other man, the elf, comes in along with the dwarf, looking around. We will be taking her to the hospital. Good day, Miss Moore. Good day, Miss Moore.
Thank you for that. Good day.
Mr. Malave speaking up. Shall I help you clean?
Oh, yes, of course. That would be lovely. This was a little premature.
Good day, sir. He says good day to the man. Good day, sir, and says good day to the dwarf as the two of them leave, and you can hear a coach pull up in front, and some instructions to pick up the madam of the house and go to the hospital. And the man finally comes out. It's just a guy wearing pretty much just a t-shirt. He has on trousers and and suspenders. Got a little cap on. His attire has seen better days. Of course, you worked with him previously. He's pretty good at what he does. Whenever you need a tambourine, he just hovers one directly above and shakes it with the pole. And then, of course, the spirit horn and other things like that, along with the garden hose or rubber hose that he's had over to it with a bladder that he's willing to press in order to blow sounds out of the trumpet. What was all the business with the insects and all that? Malave's looking at him. I don't know what you mean.
Come on, Hugo. Of course you know what he means. He had the bugs. That was new. It was good. It startled me.
I don't know what you're talking about. He's like looking around for a sign of any bugs or anything like that.
The slate was going up as we agreed, and then you stumbled back and you had the mist again, which is fine. It's a little excessive, but then bugs, thousands of them, came out of your mouth.
Ms. Moore, I don't know anything about that. I'm terribly sorry. The mist, speaking of, he takes a small, metal pouch out of the corner of his face. A little drop of dry ice then falls out, picks it up really quick, and puts it inside of his waistcoat. Meanwhile, the other guy he's already taking the very thin line down from the chandelier, standing up precariously on the table. You can see that Malave has already replaced the poles that he was going to use, stuffed into his sleeve and then hook under the table in order to lift the table up. That old gag, he's already taken them and pushed them down on either side of his thighs within his pants and specially prepared loops. Everything else has gone off with a hitch. The mystery remains exactly what had happened there, but night has fallen yet once again, and another successful one. You stay at the house, of course, until the host reappears, and she pays you the 15 pennies that you are due.
Thank you very much. How are you feeling?
A little bit.
It's quite a fall.
I am shaken. I'm absolutely shaken. Unsure exactly how to proceed. And I'm terribly sorry that my transgressions have been made bold. But it was a very long time ago, and Edgar had always supposed it. What do you suppose I should do? He's coming to haunt me. He's coming to curse me. You saw it yourself.
I think what transpired was punishment enough, don't you think?
Malave kind of comes in. Mrs., in such cases, there are times when a donation can be made to a fund that Edgar was fond of. Was there any particular fund? Oh yes. The Bankers Guild. Oh yes, of course. The bankers always need more money for pay.
Yes.
I happen to be a member of the Bankers Guild. He reaches into his coat, and you see him pull, Ophelia, you see him pull something out that you've seen before. He quickly switches hands, realizing it's the wrong kind of credential, pulls out a different form of credentials, and he goes, "Here you are, madam," and then hands it over to the madam. I'll be more than happy to collect that if you so wish. And
what fortune! There, see? It's a good sign.
And she says, "Oh, bless me, dear, bless me, bless me." And she reaches over to a purse, which had been laying on another table somewhere else, reaches in and grabs out 2 large silver coins and places them in his hand and then clasps it. "Thank you, dear. Make sure that the bankers are being taken well care of these days." "Oh, I'm sure they are. And I'm sure that this will assist as well." He looks at you real quick when the madam of the house is turning and kind of winks for a second. "Well, if you don't mind, I must be going." Turns, makes a sleight of hand. 16. And as he's passing by, he palms 1 silver into your hand and then turns around, picks up his cane and his hat and bids everyone else good day. The boy, meanwhile, the one who had all the contraptions, had disappeared long before the madam of the house got home.
Now, don't you feel a little better consciously?
Well, banking was his life, and so it makes sense. Yes, of course. And it was a banker who was so handsome, so handsome.
Aren't they all?
You hear the front door open again, and Mr. Malave comes back out, peeks around with his hat in his hand. "Mrs. Moore."
Yes.
"I believe your carriage is out front."
Oh, yes, of course. Listen, if he ever comes back to send you a message or wish ill upon you, you know where to find me, you know where to reach me. I will always be here for you.
"Oh, absolutely. And if I see any of those bugs, can I call you back? They must be like spirit bugs. They're everywhere. I don't see them at the moment, but I'm sure that I can call upon you to get rid of them."
Of course, that was just a very dark curse, but I think we've eliminated that now with what kindness you've bestowed upon the banker outside.
Mr. Malave's like, "But it could return. It could return." Sorry, Mrs. Moore. I'm sure that we will require your services again. A good day to both of you, or good evening. And turns, and he finally leaves.
Yes. I have to go. The carriage is waiting, but thank you for having me. And if you ever need me, of course, you know where to find me.
Yes, of course. Dear, thank you, as she says as she escorts you out.
Good night.
Good night, dear. Good night. And with a worried look and holding tight her neckline, she turns around, and you can see she's holding onto an amulet, a cameo of her husband's portrait. She turns and closes the door. Meanwhile, Winslow Street and the bustling city of Fallandrift lie before you, a wagon in front.
Oh, I'm going right in.
You come in, and the door kind of kicks open for a little bit, and a hand pulls back into the shadows from within.
Sure.
And you see it's Malave.
Oh.
Well, that was a hell of a pull. That was good. You're gonna have to clean up there. You got that. You've only done the what? First off, what are you talking about with all the bugs? The carriage then pulls off, having already given an address.
Okay, you can come off it now, Hugo. You know about the bugs.
No, dear. I'm telling you straight up. I know nothing about those. His top hat resting in his lap, he's looking at you earnestly. I know nothing of that.
You had these small beetles come out like waves out of your mouth. They spilled onto the table.
That they may have done, but I can assure you I know nothing about that. I was not there when that happened. Or are you saying...
They came out from you. They came out of your mouth. You opened your mouth for the mist, and instead, bugs came out.
Look,
they were gone as quickly as they arrived, but still, the fact remains you were there and you produced them.
You and I have done this now 20 times, and I've never had anything like this happen. Or have I? This is the first time, isn't it?
No, I was impressed, really. You gave me quite a shock, not requiring a doctor's care, but still. There's a wooden slide of a window from the front of the carriage. It pulls open, and you see your other assistant's head peek in. He goes, "Yeah, that was something that you did there."
That was something. Malave, are we going to drop you off first? And Malave's like, yeah, if you don't mind, take me home first. Love, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about this.
Well, are you all right? Are you sick? Are you?
Oh, no, I'm fine. I mean, I do the fog. I'm glad that you enjoyed that. That was just a bit of the ice from the dock, but I don't know anything else about. Huh. Well, I'm terribly sorry. With plenty of apologies and tons of small talk, him evading a point. Give me an insight check.
Okay. It's you.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Yeah.
You give me an insight
16.
check.
Yeah, 17. So you get a 17, and he's earnest. He has not a clue what you're talking about, and it actually makes for awkward conversation. About 20 minutes later, the carriage comes to an abrupt halt, and Malave is let out. He confirms next week's appointment with you over at some place over on the west side amongst the pustulant wealthy.
Oh, yes. Well, maybe think about how you did that trick back there with the bugs. We may need it. I'm sorry.
I don't know. I'm going to rest. Maybe you should too. You can hear from above. MLA, the bugs. That was good, eh? That was good. I'm telling you, that had nothing to do with it. Good night, Ophelia. We'll see you next week. And with that, he politely shuts the door. Off to your home.
Yes, please. I'm exhausted.
The carriage then starts quick and starts going through Fallendrift. It only takes about another 15 minutes or so within this massive city for you to finally arrive home. The carriage stops, the guy gets out, and with an extended bow, opens up the door like a proper footman. Of course, he's not dressed the part at all, but being treated like one of the nobles is kind of nice every now and then. He makes a gesture with his palm. I've not yet received me pay.
I'll take out. How much did she give me to pay besides that one that we stifled?
15 penny.
Oh, okay.
His normal is about 2 penny pay. 2 copper.
Yeah, I was gonna give him a little extra. I'll give him 3 this time.
Oh, got myself a raise, have I?
No, I'm just feeling very generous today, I suppose.
I'll take all the goods back. You see them all loaded, either in the front or on the top. Some generic luggage boxes up top that you know contain much of the instruments. I'll take them on back over to the warehouse. If you have anything else that comes up, just call upon me again, yeah?
Yes, thank you so much.
All right, thank you. As you are, madam. And he hops up on there. Come on, boys! And off he goes. The house lies before you. It's modest. It's not particularly well kept. Your abilities have they've been improving as of recent. Rolling a performance, a total of 15. You actually didn't do too bad as far as the income goes. You know, a couple things here that you might have been able to improve, but overall, everyone was pretty well convinced. But the matter of the bugs, that bothers you. What does your house look like?
I think it's very modest, very plain. It's like a row home. It looks like everybody else's, but it's very narrow. So probably just like one room behind the next, and it's like 3 rooms, and that's it.
Okay.
I think there's a boarder upstairs.
Yeah, most likely. Yeah, it doesn't take too long. You get inside, and it's dank. We're not wealthy by any means. Scraping by 15 pennies for a single day's work is absolutely fantastic. That's more than what most people earn in a single month. So you've been able to pay your rent. The landlord does come by, of course, like just about every day these days. Things have gotten a little bit tight here in the northeast end, close to the docks, just on the other side of the wall. However, sitting down in your parlor after heating up some water over the hearth, what have you, lighting a gas lamp here and there. Footsteps from the tenant above, walking and creaking back and forth on the floors. You find a note, folded, trifold, on your reading table.
This was not here when I left.
And you're the only one with the key to your house, as far as you know.
I'll take a quick look over my shoulder before I open it.
No one is there that you're able to see?
Okay.
You open it up. The letter has been passed to you in Discord.
Ooh.
And while that's happening, I'm going to see if I can pop it up here so other people can see it too.
Put my reading spectacles on. Oh my
Brilliant.
god, this is like super cursive. Okay.
Oh yeah, it is. Hold on. And I'll get it for everyone else too.
Let's see if I can read it. Oh, Jesus.
You have it?
Yeah, I have
see it? Okay.
You're really gonna test me on my...
Oh God. There we go. Hold on. Wait. So, hey, Liching Hour. Thank you so much. Twinsies.
Hey, Lich.
So, the letter itself here. Let me get it for you.
I see. Well, I see it. I have it too.
You have it too? Well, I just wanted to show everyone else. Of note, however, in the lower right-hand corner, you see 4 words separated by thin lines that say something rather mysterious. Let me see if I can zoom in on this. This is most awkward here, doing this on a stream like this. But it says, unify in the upper left corner, and then mud in the upper right, and then error in the lower left, and the word red in the lower right.
What is this? Okay, I'm going to read the letter.
The letter says, as soon as I do...
Yeah, you read it.
Okay, hold on. Yep, here we go. The letter says... Here we are. Greetings. Before you put this letter in the rubbish bin, I ask if any of these seem familiar to you. Doubts about what you've been told about your place and time of birth. Fleeting memories of childhood friends, including one everyone said was imaginary, but you knew was different. Thoughts you were born at the wrong time, days of deja vu and moments of visions, or the occasional and awkward sudden ability to know what's going to happen immediately before it does. If any of this hits home, this letter reached the correct person. My name is Ethan Long. We do not know each other, nor shall we. I am dead. For years I've experienced some of the things I've listed above. My childhood was racked with tormenting waking nightmares of beasts that walk among us, but none save myself can see. In adulthood, the dead visited me in my dreams and spoke to me of things that happened in other worlds and times, sometimes of things that were to come. Madness was the only explanation I was afforded, and I have spent the better part of my adulthood institutionalized for it. In my 13th year, I was released into the care of someone I've never met. Their treatment of me was far superior than the depraved experiments conducted on me previously. I was provided a home, a job in a butcher's with a steady wage. Still, I never met my benefactor, but I assure you they existed. They led me to you and others of our kind. I pray you understand this letter was not sent by accident. If you should give over to what I have written here, you shall have answers through it come with a price. Though it will come with a price. Find the others. Seek your answers and trust that you are not alone. They will assist you in all things. Your friend, Ethan Long. You notice something rather peculiar about the letter itself.
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to pull the letter back up so everyone else here can see.
I was going to ask if you could do that.
Yes.
So at the last paragraph, I noticed that a lot of the words had like double letters. So now I'm going back to the beginning.
Correct.
and realizing that there are some with double letters, so I'm going to take each one out. I bet you it spells something.
Okay, well, go ahead and state what you're doing and spell it out.
So I'm going to pull out the S in seam.
Okay.
And then E in fleeting.
Okay.
And then childhood friends. Oh, E in one.
If you guys want, you can check out this letter, which is about to be dropped in the spoiler chat, so you guys can play at home too.
Oh, so the E in one. There's a K in new. So seek. It's the first word.
Seek.
And,
okay.
There's an extra T in moments. H in what? E in before. So the, or it could be then because there's an N in person.
If you are on our Discord server, you can go right to the Untimely Hero spoiler chat, and you'll be able to see the letter yourself.
Oh, it's then. Seek then. And then there's a T, an extra T in Ethan. And then an E in each. An L in shall.
There you go, Lich. I totally see Lich like holding up the letter and just...
An L enlisted. So seek then tell. I in childhood. G in...
Are you writing these down?
Tormenting. Yeah, it's in my head. Adulthood, the dead. This image is to happen in other worlds and times. Sometimes the things that were to come, madness was the only. Oh my gosh! So now he could spell perfectly. Adulthood. Oh, geez. IGI? That's not right. I'm missing one.
May want to write it down, or somebody in the spoiler chat. Wow, hey, you just... So, Erin, you just got a 100-bit cheer from Lich.
Hey, thanks.
Okay, Dash Valor, Kevin is saying, seek then tell IGI.
Yeah, right? IGI.
Yeah, who is IGI?
I don't know. Let's keep spelling stuff, because maybe it's something different. IG. Oh, maybe it's IG. Hold on, there's a U. IGIU. What? M. Jim. IGIUM.
What do you come up with so far? What do you see? Any ideas?
I just have IGIUM.
No, what does everything spell out so far?
Oh, seek then tell, and then something else. IGIUM.
IGIUM. Intel.
Seek then tell.
Amanda thinks, is that a name?
I don't know. Let me keep going. So, okay, there's nothing else in that one. Oh, no, there's an M. IGI. Oh, wait, that's the M. No, that's not the M. IGIUM M. Oh, jeez. IGIUMM. D. Oh, IGIUMD. Is that a doctor? MD. This letter is N. The fuck? I. G. H. Night. T. A. T. Night at the fountain. Night at the fountain. What is the IGIUM? I-G-I-U-M. There's two M's. I-G-I-U-M.
Spell out the whole thing. Start off with the beginning.
Seek,
okay?
then
and
tell.
There you go. Write it all out.
I am. Seek, then tell. I-G-I-U-M. M-D. Night. What was it? Night at the fountain? Night at the fountain, I think.
Seek, then tell. Amanda says, seek, then tell I-G-I-M-M-D night.
Is it midnight? Are we missing an I? God damn it.
Midnight.
Where's the I? I found it. I found the I. So midnight. So who's Igium?
Are you missing any of the letters, perhaps?
Oh gosh.
Here, let's give you a perception check. You've rolled a 17.
Okay.
So what you can see here, what do you got?
Nothing. Never mind. Manda. I thought Manda was actually saying the right word, but she's not.
So let's take a look at this again.
Okay.
Okay. My name is Ethan Long. We did not know each other here. Let me make it larger for the people at home. My name is Ethan Long. We do not know each. There's an E. There's your extra. Well, there's also an N. You have these?
I thought I did.
Okay. Before you put this letter in the rubbish bin, I ask if any of these seem. Seem has an extra S in it.
Yep.
Okay. And so far you have seek the...
Seek, then tell.
Yeah, it's I-N-T-E-L. What else do you have?
It's intel? I thought it was seek, then tell.
Zool is like, Igium gel provides gentle and complete care to the eye area.
All right. Somebody type this down. I'm going to go through really quick and do it again. S. Oh my gosh. E.
Mm-hmm.
E. K.
Got it. Seek.
Yeah. Okay. Hold on. T.
T.
H.
Okay.
E.
E. If you guys are playing at home, go to the Discord server, go to the spoiler chat, the Untimely Heroes spoiler chat. N.
All right, N. I think somebody in chat is probably doing this for me too. T.
T.
E.
Your perception check tells you that you missed an I before that N.
Oh, there is an extra I. Oh, found it. It's in this. If any of this hits home, this letter reached the correct person. There's an extra I. You clever Ethan. There's a reason you're dead, and it's because you don't know how to spell.
I-N-T.
I-N-T. T. Hold on. T. Here it is. The T. E-L. So intel. All right. Thank you. Seek intel.
Seek the intel.
Seek the intel. Yes. Then it's L.
A second
I,
L?
Yes.
Okay. I.
Uh-huh. G.
G.
E.
Okay, wait a second. Wait. I have an idea. Let me do it this way. Because this way I can, 1 second. We're going to make this occur right on the screen so that we can actually follow. Hold on.
Okay.
All right.
I thought it was still on the screen.
I didn't even... No, it's not. No, because it takes up the whole thing. So...
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, God, that is way too small. Hold on. Way too small. Let's see if this works. Nope, way too... Is that too small? There we go.
While you're doing that.
Okay. Seek the intel... double L-I-G...
Well, hold on. I'm going back to the seek the intel now because now I lost my spot. Oh, geez. Seek the intel. There it is. Okay. 4 years I've experienced another L-I-G E R. Wait, L-I-G.
Seek the intelligent.
Is that what it spells? That'd be nice. What's my 17 get me? Seek the...
Well, we're gonna have to make another one. Well, actually, this is gonna be an insight. So, oh no, you got 19 on perception. So, you do see it is INTELLIGER.
Okay. The better part of my adulthood. I institutionalized. Just the I.
You're saying it was GERI?
Yeah.
Okay. We have it up on the screen. U.
M.
M.
That spells something because that's a Steve thing. Oh, okay. There we go. That's a mysterious organizational sound.
Seek the Intelligarium.
So let's keep looking. Oh, he forgot the apostrophe after butchers. Oh, M. I think that's everything in that paragraph. MID. Midnight. This is the midnight. At the fountain.
You know of a fountain in Fallen Drift. It's down to the south. It's in the southern quarter, in the old quarter, which has now been given way to many of the, shall we say, insane commoners of the streets.
Okay. And okay. Assist. Wait. Why is there an extra T in assist? T. Wait. FOUN. TAITN.
I, or is that a T or an I?
There's assist. There's an extra I and an extra T.
In what words?
Assist.
All the way down at the bottom?
Yep.
They will assist. ASSIISTT. And then so TN. It appears to be TN. They will assist in all things, it looks like.
Okay. Does that make fountain spelled wrong? Oh, TN. Oh, are they initials? Are they initials?
I don't know.
Well, he's spelled everything else right, so I guess we're gonna go see who this TN person is.
Okay. The lower right-hand corner, this is coming from Discord, Raffle and Chef. Let's see if this can assist you at all, giving you an insight check. That's going to be a 3. So we won't be able to use his clue.
Oh, okay. Do I have to never see it? Because then I won't.
Well,
I won't look later.
Well, I mean, but so far it says seek the Intelligarium, midnight at the fountain.
Okay. Okay.
What would you like to do? The hour right now is about 10 p.m.
And how far away is this fountain?
About a half an hour down to the south.
Oh, I want to go early. I want to see what's happening there before I get there.
Absolutely. Do you want to walk or?
Yeah, I want to walk.
Okay. All right. The city streets in this area that you're going to are not particularly good.
Yeah. It's okay. I have a knife.
You have a knife. Okay, well, very well then. So, not a problem.
Is it a total party kill if there's just one person?
Yeah. You are currently the party, yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna be very nondescript and walk there.
Okay, no problem. Let's just get you a basic. Well, how are you acting? Are you dressing differently, or are you? What are you doing?
You know what? I'm a bard in my class.
Well,
so
you're kind of getting there. Yeah, we're actually starting up at level 0 on this.
Yeah. So do I have like the same starting equipment? Because I'm going to take an old like shawl and like kind of like matron myself up and just kind of like stick to maybe I'll carry like a basket with me, so it's like I was selling flowers or something and now I'm just on my way home.
Okay, so you do that and you feel like you're pretty much covered up, but this is all, you seem to be okay so far, not a problem.
Okay.
You start walking down the city streets, I assume.
Yes.
Okay.
And the knife is in my pocket just in case.
Yeah, not a problem. You do, and it's the hour is coming, and you can hear the old, like the temples no one goes to anymore, and yet one of the large churches is still there and continues to ring out throughout the night. You hear carriages going past every now and then, and in truth, nothing much changes until you arrive about 3 blocks to the south. Just walking across, avoiding a couple of puddles in the cobblestone. The street cleaners are still out there doing everything that they can. Some have already begun to gather the night soil, the remnants of human waste in the various privies throughout the city. The nightlife itself is fairly easy. Some of the wealthier or upper middle class have managed to take over or buy up some of the tenements in this area. But now you're starting to get into a more seedy area. You continue to look around and everything seems to be okay. But I'm going to ask you to make a perception check.
And what did I get?
A 21.
Holy shit.
You rolled a nat 20 plus your 1.
I think the bells are keeping me like on high alert, so I'm kind of...
Yeah. Well, you go down the way. There's a moment there where one of your heels kind of gets caught in the cobblestone. The carriage is now coming your way. You manage to yank itself out. You look down and see what it's caught in. Your heel, you manage to yank it out, but you also see something laying in the road right next to you. Right next to your foot.
How big is it?
It's about that big, and it looks like a planchette from a spirit board.
Is it? I'm gonna pick it up. Is it mine?
It is yours, and under no circumstances did your carriage have reason to come down this way.
I'm gonna turn it. Like I'm gonna inspect it. Like, why is this?
It's got a little bit of mud on it. It's it looks like it was just recently dropped. There's some water on it as well.
And no way that my carriage went through here.
There's no way.
Have.
There's not a single way.
Not a single way.
No.
Okay. I'm gonna look around. Is anybody looking at me?
I mean, now that you moved out of the street, for the most part, no, not really.
Okay, I'm putting that in the empty basket.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna get out, like back in the shadows. That was really fucking weird.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. You start walking down the street a little bit, and you can see that there's a couple of men hanging out on a building, smoking on a cheap pipe. One leaning back, his right heel kicked up against the wall as well, arms folded in front of him. They look like dock workers, but very misplaced considering the docks are on the northern side of town and actually bisect the city to form the north and southern halves. They are a good 45 minutes away from the docks down here. They look to be like ruffians.
Question about the church.
Yeah.
Is that the same kind of situation here where it's like considered a sanctuary?
No, there's zero respect for anybody that has any kind of faith anymore. Those that have faith in the burgeoning nature of science and alchemy, so few have any stock whatsoever. In fact, most people just kind of call them the gods and have completely forgotten the names.
Okay, so there's no buildings that are like in the town that are considered like sacred, like science buildings or libraries or anything like that. Okay.
No one has any. I mean,
ruffian's gonna ruffian.
Yeah, and the libraries would be kept well, but they're more on the western side of town, and currently you're heading down to the south, just on the other side of the wall, which is like about 15-20 minute walk away to the east, just on the other side of the wall. I mean, there you have the dust yard, you have the fens and other areas that are extremely poor, like Shantytown. And you are now heading into the worst of the areas, which is where the fountain is. I mean, you're not near the Rips. The Rips is probably the worst section, and that's down to the east by southeast, and you're heading straight down south. So you're a little further west than that.
Okay, I'm just gonna not make it so obvious that I'm just like going all the way around them, but I am gonna kind of like stick to a curb or something, so they'll have to actually kick off from the wall if they wanted to try to grab me, but walk with a purpose.
Okay.
And I'm going to have my hands in my pocket, but I've got so many skirts and shawls and stuff, it's not like I'm reaching for anything, but my hand is on my knife.
Yeah, not a problem. You start, you veer away. I'm assuming that you are not staying on the same side of the street, right?
Correct.
Okay, yeah, so you cross the street, and the guy who was leaning up against the wall kind of kicks off a little and stands and hooks his thumbs right into his belt loops and looks at you, pulls down the pipe, and seems to point to you, saying something to the other two. They kind of turn, they look, and you see one guy kind of stretching out a little bit, looks at the other two, looks further down the street in both directions, and lazily takes a step off of the sidewalk and into the cobblestone street.
Where is he in respect? Is he close enough to me? I'm going to keep moving until he is close enough to be within.
Sure, so here's the street. Okay, They were here, let's say. You were heading in this direction. Upon seeing them, you started to go across the street. So he now crossed the street while you're coming down that way. They kind of start... The intention is to... they're taking a long diagonal towards you. But you can see that the three of them are kind of picking up pace. The guy with the pipe is like he holds it in the corner of his mouth. And he's just kind of hanging back a little bit while the other two are kind of walking forward, hands in pockets.
Okay. I'm going to keep moving, but I know exactly where kidneys are. So if he gets within any closing distance, I have my knife and I'm going to turn around and right against the kidney as a warning.
Well, okay, so the kidney's in the back.
Yeah, that's what I meant. If he's gonna try to grab me, I'm going to try to go.
See if you can spin around and nab him in the back. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right. As the two of them, one hops up on, speeds up rapidly, hops up on the sidewalk behind you by about 20 feet or so. The other one you can see is jogging now down the street, hands out of pockets, kind of jogging to the street, passes by you, and it starts veering off to the sidewalk to head you off.
I'm going to keep moving. Fuck it. I hate that. I'm going to keep moving.
All right, so you see he's going, you're heading right to him. He kind of...
I would rather have no space in between one than space in between two, and then have them close in on me. I want to take control of that.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, so you start heading right towards him with a mission on your mind. He casually leans up against the wall, and he's totally leaning on it. You get close. Let's roll for initiative.
Oh, what?
Yep, you get an 18 on your initiative. They get a 12 and a 13. You get close. You're now within 10 feet of him. You take it from here.
Okay. I will move up 5 to grapple him from behind.
Yeah, you do. You move in real quick.
Yeah, just like one of those, like, swoop in to grab him by his neck and I want to have the knife up against his back.
You begin to hear thunder from somewhere. This guy, like, stops for a quick second, and then with a very clear, like, clap somewhere near you, his ears start absolutely... He, like, grabs his ears and collapses down to the ground, and you can feel something occurring right next to you. And then he's down on the ground in pain. He doesn't know what to do. He's like... You see blood coming out of his ears. You quickly turn around, and the guy behind you is likewise down on the ground, out. The third one is standing there in the middle of the street. You see him with a knife in his hand. He was coming into you, and he stopped about 25 feet away looking at the two of them. And he stops, puts the knife away slowly, and just stands there and hooks his thumbs into his belt loops and looks at the other two guys, not moving, allowing you to pass.
Okay, I'm gonna shake all that bad juju off. When I pass him, he's in front of me, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. When I pass him, I'll stop and I'll like notion back and say like, your friends look like they need a doctor.
He's not even being able to pay attention to you. He's got blood coming out of his ears.
Good night, then. Keep walking.
Okay.
Fuck that.
All right.
I'll think about that on the way.
All right. So you do. Yeah, you are heading in a southerly direction, still heading towards the fountain. Your boot gets caught in yet another cobblestone. You wedge it free a little bit, and you continue on down the way. Might be time to, I don't know, maybe go with flats or something like that if you're going to go on the cobblestone streets. The seedier section of town continues to get even seedier and seedier. And as you are walking now down on the right side of the street, you can see that there is some construction forcing you to cross back over to the left. And you get over to the left side of the street. You know you're about 5 minutes away from the fountain. And you see a guy with two of his friends. One of them smoking a pipe.
Do they look the same?
Leaning up against the wall, his right foot kicked up on it. The three of them look at you.
What the fuck? Are they the same guys?
They look exactly the same. And the street, you notice that broken crate. The garbage, the dung pile.
I'm going to reach... Is my planchette still in my basket?
It is.
Okay.
And then it occurs to you that was the exact same street your boot got caught in before.
Okay. This time, I'm going to walk. I'm not going to cross. I'm going to try to stay on the same side of the street and pass them, but I'm going to brandish my knife beforehand so that they see that I'm armed as I try to pass them.
You do. They see a flash of metal. One of them, he kicks off, holds his pipe in the corner of his mouth, straightens himself out, stretches out a little bit, takes a look up both sides of the streets, sees you approaching the other two friends, 1, 2, and 3, barring passage on that sidewalk. How far do you get?
Okay, so they're not... Okay. Is there, like, next to me, the shops and stuff, is there, like, a pub?
No pubs in this area. As a matter of fact, all of the stores in this area have been closed now for quite some time due to a fire some years back.
Are there shortcuts to the fountain that I could try to cut through?
There are alleys that you might be able to pass, but first you're going to have to get past these boys.
Oh, I fucking knew it. All right, I'm going to chicken out and I'm going to cut. And I'm not going to be able to go through 3. I'm going to cut around again.
Okay. You veer off to the right side of the street. And you see one of them kind of like looking around. And he starts crossing the street. The other guy...
I'm gonna cut the guy off that I know is gonna. He climbs up on the guy that like climbed up on the thing.
Nobody climbed up on anything. It's one person came in behind you. Another person tried running alongside you and then cutting you off in front.
Yeah, I want to try to circumvent that so that I get to where he was gonna go first.
Okay, yeah, you start. All right, so you start speeding up a little bit, and the guy that ran alongside you initially, he picks up pace, outruns you because you're in those boots. He outruns you, gets over there, and like about 20 feet away, throws himself up against the wall and uses his body in a diagonal fashion in order to bar passage. How close do you get to him?
10 feet.
Okay, you do, and he's looking at you, and his hand is now reaching right back here, where last time you saw he had a knife.
I'm going to bum rush him and try to get there first and stab him instead.
Yeah, you do, right? You get right to him. You draw out your blade. Let's roll for initiative. You got a 17. They got a 12 and a 13. The other guy is now starting to cross the street. As soon as you get close, there's... Immediately, he falls down on the ground. Blood starts coming out of his ears. You turn around. The other guy is likewise. They are completely dazed. The guy in the middle of the street with a blade in his hand, looking at you, and Reith sheathes it, kind of stands there unsure how to process this. You're able to walk past the guy who was in front of you.
Can you move?
He's not moving at all. He's in pain, and his ears are bleeding heavily. He can't even hear you. He's out of it.
Okay. What? Where did the thunder... I want to look to see where I think the source of the thunder came from.
From your purse.
What? Okay, while that guy's standing there, just a tick, I'm going to open up my purse.
The guy in the street kind of looking at you. Again, from like 25 feet away.
Yeah. What's in my purse?
Planchette and other belongings.
Wait, a planchette? Is the one still in my basket, or is it the same one?
The one in the basket? There's no planchette in your basket. There's one in your purse.
Hold on. I picked up the planchette and I put it in my basket.
Yes, you did.
Okay. And it was there the entire time. The 2 times that I had to deal with these guys. And now it's in my purse.
It's been in your purse.
I'm going to put my ear up to that planchette. I'm going to pull the planchette out and put my ear up to it.
Okay.
Is it making noises?
Initially you don't hear anything, but let's get you a perception check. That's going to be a 15.
Okay.
You don't hear anything initially, and then something. Like a bassy rumble, and then some kind of a whisper. It's difficult. It seems to pass through you, even though it's originating from the planchette on the right side. And then you hear distant voices whispering to you. What do you do?
The voices are coming from all around?
Yeah, and then if you move the planchette away from you a little bit, It's like they kind of go away a little.
Can you get louder? Nope. Nope. I'm gonna put that right back in my purse. I can still hear them.
Oh, you put it away?
Yeah. I could still hear them?
Nope. They seem to fade away.
Oh, okay. Because I could hear them in the in Sirenscape. That's what I'm asking.
You shouldn't.
I do. Oh, okay. Now it's gone. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go up to the guy, like right up to him, and I'm gonna hold the planchette up to his ear.
He is unconscious.
Oh, I thought he was still standing. Okay.
No. Both of them fell. Those on the sidewalk, they fell, grabbing their ears, blood coming out of them.
But there was the third guy. What is he doing?
Standing there in the street, 25 feet away. He wants to get to his boys. You can tell that, but he's not coming anywhere near you.
Yeah, so I'm going to go up like as close as he'll let me, and I'm going to hold the planchette up to him, and I'm going to say, do you hear this?
He's like looking at you as you hold a piece of wood out to him, and you ask if he can hear that.
Do you hear the whispers?
He stops. Oh, you're one of them. And he, like, bolts past you. He, like, passes about 10 feet within you. Bolts past, gets the guy who was up street of you, grabs him, looking at you, gets him over here, looks back at you, and, like, goes down to get the other guy and tries helping them away, and they end up disappearing down an alley.
Indeed. Try this a third time, gentlemen. And I'm going to keep going towards... I'm going to keep going. I have the planchette still out, and I'm going to see if... when I get to the fountain, if it gets louder.
Sure. So you imagine that you're a couple of minutes closer to the fountain finally, and the rain is unfortunately picking up a little bit. You can hear distant carriages and other things like that. Again, it's raining in Fallendrift. It very often does. And you finally get close. And unfortunately, there's a lot of puddles, so you end up skipping over the puddles here and there. You don't really have an umbrella. Actually, would you have an umbrella on you?
No, I'm used to the rain.
Okay, not a problem.
I have the shawl. I could just put that over me if I need to.
Okay, not a problem. Yeah, you put the shawl over you, and you seem like you're going to pretty much, you go pretty much unnoticed and what have you. You turn around real quick just to examine your belonging or examine your area. And it's a good thing that you brought the shawl, because as you just left your house, the shawl is going to protect you against the rain that's coming. Your house, which is just on the other side of the street that you just left. You go forward a little bit. The heel of your right boot, now almost expecting it, gets lodged into a cobblestone. You look down, you can see a dry patch, which is quickly next to your foot, a dry patch of the stone, which is now quickly get moistened by raindrops. A dry patch that was the same size and shape as the planchette. You dislodge your boot, see the wagon, or rather the carriage coming to you. You move out of the way. And now that you've crossed the street, no one's really looking at you.
Are there 3 men?
Eventually, you come across 3 men, one of which is smoking a pipe, leaning up against the wall, his right foot kicked up against it.
Have they noticed me yet?
Not yet, but now you've been looking for them. And when you come around a corner or head down further and your eyes adjust to whatever light is in the area, you are able to see them before they see you.
Okay, I'm going to go home now.
Sure, yeah. You turn around and start heading back. Not a problem. You head back, and let's see here if you get... Oh, cool. You got 20. Hold on.
Yeah.
21?
I make it home, safe and sound. The end.
Well... So...
It was all a dream.
Well, you turn around, you start heading back, and you're on the left side of the street. You were on the right. I mean, it would be on your right. You were on the left. when you saw the three, and then you turned around, and now the street, of course, you're on the right side of the street from your perspective, and you had to, there's some construction in front of you, so you have to cross back over to the left. You get over to the left, and you can see that the park where the fountain is lies ahead.
That's not where the fountain usually is.
No, the fountain is south. Your house is north.
I'm going to turn around. Is my house right there?
No. The city is to the north of you.
How did I get here? What the fuck?
The fountain is still about, hasn't worked in like 25 years or so. You're about 150 feet away from it. Much of this area has been completely overgrown. You can see the homeless using what they can. Pieces of wood that have been torn down from buildings that leak worse in the outside. Some of them have managed to, like on old benches, put the planks up on almost like a lean-to fashion so that they can have a place to sleep. You're going in and around so many of the lower parts of the city and past so many who quiver and shake from just whatever it is that ails them in the head. So many of them have had a mental illness of some kind, it seems, or so the word says. You haven't come down into this section of the city in a very long time. I mean, maybe under escort when you were a child and things were a little bit better in this area. You don't ever remember visiting the fountain, though, but you can envision moments of grandeur. When the fountain itself, instead of a kind of a putrid green covered with moss or lichen or something along those lines, or just the rot of that water fetid, you can see that it used to be a brilliant, absolutely brilliant marble before it cracked and the money wasn't there to repair it. The gardens that surround the area, all equidistant from the fountain, in beautiful patterns of walkways in between, exotic shrubberies from the east, from the riders, all the way to the north of some really decadent sculptures. To the northeast, some lizard folk had erected a monument to a great leader of theirs that died in this area. You see all of it. It's all fallen to waste, like so much of the city. And no one bothers to clean up this area. The fountain lies 150 feet away from you, bubbling with water.
What time is it? Is there like a bell tower or something? I don't know if I would have a timepiece.
There is. The functioning church clock. There is, in fact, one. They do have one. You see some external gears kind of ticking every now and then, and there is no light. But by the light of one of the moons, you are able to see two hands now coming up of what seems to be a 12 o'clock position.
Cool. So, by my recollection, what was supposed to be a half-hour trip has been an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, an hour and a half?
Almost 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours?
Yeah.
And has any time been lost? Like this, I think I'm trying to recall if there's a similar lapse of time with Mr. Malave and the bugs.
No.
And then me and what was happening. Like
no.
Not okay. So it's just literally wandering through the city in circles, kind of, but like not really.
It seems like you replay your steps in your mind, and from what you can gather, you have been walking or would have been walking in what would ostensibly be a straight line. But you kind of went this way and this way and this way and this way several times.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to walk very carefully, one step at a time.
Okay.
To make sure that I'm not going to suddenly turn around and end up back at my house.
With eyes locked on the fountain some 150 feet away, you continue forward. But then, as you step forward, you start hearing whispers, deep whispers, distant, unintelligible.
Is it coming from a planchette?
Do you take the planchette out and listen to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, you do. And you begin hearing something calling out to you.
What? Hello?
There doesn't seem to be any...
What was that? I'm like, has anybody noticed me? I jumped really hard.
Those that are around are hearing their own type of thing. They're kind of, every now and then somebody is like turning really quickly. To someone on the outside, it looks like spasmodic movements, but you now understand that some of them, they're not spasmodic at all. They're actually reacting to things that are surrounding them, though you see nothing. There's stuff here. What do you do?
What happens if I look through the eye of the planchette at the world around me?
Sure. Yeah. You start taking a look around, and the first thing that you see, something looking right back at you.
Oh, okay.
You saw something that you can see like an oozy, like saliva being coming down off of a canine, which was in some kind of a mouth with a hellish orangey glow down deep inside of its throat. You peeked up at it, and you were able to see a half of a nose there, half rock, half flesh, and the rest of the face like a very tightly drawn fur-like and bare patches over what appeared to be a dog head of some kind, but you removed it long before you were able to see anything else. Nothing.
Is that... Okay. I'm going to take one grand step right through that invisible hellhound creature.
You do. You step forward, and now you are about 115 feet away from the fountain.
And that thing has not attacked my aura at all.
What thing? Nothing is there other than the homeless of Fallendrift.
Excellent. These are the kind of monstrous conditions that I understand. And I'm going to keep walking forward.
Okay.
Until I get, to the fountain.
Yeah, okay, well...
That was so fucking scary.
You start getting closer. And as you do, there's someone off to your right calls out really quick. And then you realize that, no, everyone there is sleeping. And the closer you get, the more you begin to hear things. And the more the rain around you begins to disappear. Until something brushes right up alongside you and starts moving away.
I want to look through.
You look through?
Yeah.
And right in front of you, again, you see a snarling tooth with a little bit of fresh flesh still hanging, draped down out of its lower jaw. And then it launches forward. What do you do? Oh, you took it away from your face?
No, I didn't, but I jumped back.
Okay, you jump back, and this thing snapped at you. Roll for initiative. Ah! You rolled a 1 + 1. You get a 2. Jesus Christ. It's got a 19. It launches forward. What do you do?
I'd like to take it down as soon as he actually lunged at me.
You saw this thing tuck itself down for a second, build up the power in those leg muscles, jump forward.
Down! Down!
You do, and immediately the rain returns and all the sounds stop.
I'm gonna fucking book it to the fountain. Just book it.
Okay.
As fast as I can without trying to... I want to get there before my ears perceive anything.
Okay, yeah, you start to run, and you're like running as fast as you possibly can. You finally get to the fountain itself, and like you stop just for a brief moment. There is water running in this fountain, and this water has not been running in a long time.
Is it clear?
Meh. It looks like that somebody just turned the fountain on. You can see it's already overflowing.
Ethan Long? Anybody named Ethan Long? TN.
You hear a sound off to your right.
What kind of sound?
It sounds like a shifting, like something like a piece of wood.
Imaginarium. I want to open up the letter and start reading the
Do you even look over to your right?
Yeah, well, you said something shifting.
Yeah, but you don't look to see what it is?
I assumed it was a homeless person.
That's exactly what it was. God damn it, I tried to...
You painted the picture so vividly, Steve, that I know.
So, yeah, you open up the letter. The letter looks exactly as it did.
Okay, I'm going to, just read the little blood... or not blood, red, mud. I'm just gonna start saying words until somebody stops me.
Start saying them.
Okay, hold on, I gotta find the thingy. That's what I was looking for. Where is it? There it is. Hold on. God damn it. Okay. Unify. Mud. Error. Red. Ethan Long, you're dead. I don't want to look through this. Maybe Ethan, if you hear me, of Imaginarium, something tonight at the fountain. I have your letter. Is there anything happening?
No. You see people kind of like lifting their head up and looking at you, but that's it.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Hold on, I'm going back to when I typed it. When did I type this? I don't remember what else was in the... Seek the Intelligarium. That's what it was. Seek the Intelligarium, midnight at the fountain. I am here at the fountain at midnight. There's a hellhound in my planchette. There's the water in the fountain. Anything?
Nothing at all. You take a look up just to make sure that you are at the right time. You do a double take. You notice something rather odd about that clock. You can see the hands, the minute and the hour hand, are just now forming the 12 o'clock position. But you notice that there is no number 6 down at the bottom. They seem to be skewed off a little bit, and there's not quite a number 3 there. You count 13 hours on that clock from afar.
Of course I do. Of course I do. I'm going to lift the planchette to see what it looks like through the thing.
And the first thing you hear is bells.
Through that, not the real life bells?
Oh no, you hear them. But no one else is reacting to the midnight bells from a church that hasn't seen that kind of action in a very long time. You start looking around, and something changes around you. Kind of hard to say exactly what, but It's like reality itself begins to waver as you look through the hole in the planchette, start looking around, turning around here and there. You can see everything around you pretty much doing the same. Something is like wavering, like the air itself changes. What are you doing?
I'm gonna put the planchette on the paper and see if there's anything else I should be saying. Maybe there's a hidden message on the paper.
No, and unfortunately the paper's now becoming a little bit on the damp side.
All right, I'll put it back in my pocket before it gets ruined.
Okay.
I don't.
What do you do?
I guess stick my hand in the fountain. That's the only other thing I could think of doing.
As you do, you see the bells are going, people in the distance running. You can see the fire consuming all of the buildings in this area. The beautiful garden that where you are standing is running, everything is just simply catching on fire. People are running for their lives. Your hand is still in the fountain, which looks completely brand new now that you look down at it. Only the water now running, overflowing this whole area. You see people like properly dressed in suits and bustle dresses and everything else, complete with umbrellas and what have you, scattering in the daylight hour. You begin to feel a burning flame, like getting closer.
Take my hand out.
You do. And all goes quiet. You hear the shuffle of a foot behind you.
Turn around.
You see a man. He's looking at you. Big collared jacket, top hat, an aged, kind face, black gloves on, a walking cane, silver. You see a raven's head. And sitting on top of that is a crow. You recognize the crow. It's the same kind of crow that you've employed in some of your seances in the past. Your trained crow that you had rap at windows and other things. You decided not to use them this particular time, but you recognize your crow.
That's my crow.
That is your crow.
Okay.
And he flies off and comes over to your shoulder. The man, you can see hunched back. He's, his left hand deep within a coat pocket. He looks like he's bundled for winter. And he looks extremely venerable. He takes his hand out, gloved hand, exchanges the cane into it, takes off the top hat to reveal a completely bald head, and bows, and looks at you. Takes it, puts his hat back on, adjusting the brim, just perfect. Looks at you. Mrs. Moore, I presume.
TN?
That's my friend who sent the letter.
Mr. Long?
No, my name is not Long. You mean Ethan?
Yes.
Ethan is one of ours.
He's dead.
He is, in fact. You have questions, no doubt.
Oh, yes, starting with this. And I'm holding up a planchette.
You can hear footsteps in the distance as well. You see someone also approaching. Someone that kind of looks familiar, just judging by their silhouette. Kind of hard to tell exactly. Kind of short and stout. You recognize in the distance the dwarf from earlier begin making his way to you. The man takes his hat off. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Artul Veric. I represent the Intelligarium. Pleased to make your acquaintance, Mrs. Moore. Others will be joining us momentarily.
Others? What do you mean? What is the Intelligarium?
That is precisely the question, isn't it? And we'll see you guys next week.
Motherfucker. I hate men so much.